The first faith had no walls. It was born in the breath of the wind and the silence of stone. Long before we learned to build temples, we knelt at the foot of mountains. We saw gods in the turning of rivers and heard prophecy in the rustling of leaves. The first altar was the earth itself, rich with the memory of fallen stars. The first prayer was the rain falling on dry ground. Every ancient faith started outside. It began not in buildings of our own making, but in the vast cathedral of the wild. The trees were the first pillars holding up the sky. The rivers were the first holy water flowing from a source deeper than our understanding. Mountains were the original spires reaching for a heaven we could only imagine. We learned worship from the way the sun knelt at the horizon each evening. We learned reverence from the patience of ancient stones, worn smooth by millennia of wind and water. These were the first churches. Their roofs were the constellations. Their floors were the soil that would one day claim our bones. We didn't invent sanctity, we stumbled upon it already, living and breathing in the world around us. The forest had its own scripture written in bark and root. The ocean had its own hymns, sung in the rhythm of the tides. We were late arrivals to a ceremony that had been unfolding since the beginning of time. We built our sanctuaries as pale imitations of what was already there, trying to capture a fragment of the wild divinity that surrounded us. There are patterns they don't teach in hushed halls of worship. Echoes of a faith so old it has no name. The Christmas tree standing in our homes is a ghost of the sacred evergreens that promised life in the dead of winter long before any Messiah was born. Its branches held the light of stars, not candles. It was a symbol that life persists, that the green heart of the world never truly stops beating even under a blanket of snow. We brought the forest inside thinking we were taming it, but we only brought its memory, its quiet, enduring power. The Easter egg painted and hidden for our children is not just a toy. It is a whisper of spring rebirth symbols older than any book. It is the promise of the earth cracking open after a long sleep. It is the perfect shape of creation, a universe held in the palm of your hand. Before it was tied to a resurrection story, it was the resurrection story itself. The story of the sun returning, the flowers breaking through frozen ground, the world being born anew as it had for countless ages. The holy water we sprinkle for blessings is a stolen river. Rivers were worshipped first as living gods, their currents the veins of the earth. They gave life, and they could take it away. Their banks were the first places of pilgrimage. To drink from a sacred spring was to drink a piece of divinity. We put the water in fonts of stone and metal, but we could not contain its true nature. It still remembers its journey from the mountains to the sea. It remembers being a god before we gave it a new role as a tool for our own rituals. And the direction of our prayers, whether towards Mecca or Jerusalem or the rising sun, is a compass still tied to the land and sky. We turn our bodies to face a point on the earth, a specific patch of ground, a celestial event. We are anchoring our faith not in an abstract idea but in a physical place. It is a profound admission that our holiest thoughts are tethered to the dirt beneath our feet and the stars above our heads. We are orienting ourselves within the grand temple of the cosmos, a practice learned from the sunflower which turns its head to follow the light across the sky, a practice as old as humanity itself. Nature still obeys laws we have forgotten. It holds a silence that our noisy prayers cannot penetrate. There are stories of bees, those ancient keepers of honey and life, leaving religious icons untouched within a burning church. They will build their hives around a statue of a saint, refusing to cover the face as if they recognize a stillness that matures their own. They see not the carved wood or painted plaster, but the echo of the living tree from which it came. They honor the memory of the forest. Birds are said to circle certain sacred mountains in perfect spirals, ascending and descending in a pattern that mirrors the pilgrim's path. They perform a ritual older than any organized religion, a dance with the wind and the stone that we can only watch from below. They are not flying randomly, they are mapping the invisible currents of power that emanate from these holy peaks. They are drawing a mandala in the air, a prayer without words. In sacred groves hidden deep in old forests, trees grow in impossible circles. Their roots intertwine like clasped hands. Their branches form a living dome, a natural sanctuary. They defy the random chaos of the woods, standing as a testament to a different kind of order, an order that predates our concepts of geometry and architecture. These are places where the veil between worlds is thin. The trees themselves are the guardians. They grow in a way that tells you to be quiet and listen. And it is documented for centuries that lightning never strikes some ancient holy sites. Monasteries built on mountaintops, pagan stone circles, standing exposed on open plains. The storm will rage around them, the sky will split with fire, but these places remain untouched. as if the raw power of the sky recognizes a different kind of power on the ground. A power not of dominance, but of deep, enduring presence. The earth at these points holds a charge that repels the fury of the heavens. It is a quiet armistice between the sky and the land, a covenant of peace we were never invited to sign. There is a quiet message in all of this, a truth hidden in plain sight. Every major religion on this planet borrowed its holiest symbols. The cross was the tree of life. The crescent was the moon. The star was a guide in the desert night. The lotus was purity rising from the mud. The sacred mountain, the holy river, the divine light. All of these were taken from the natural world that was already there. We did not invent these symbols of power and grace. We discovered them, we saw them in the world around us, and recognized their meaning instinctively. We are born with a knowledge of what is sacred because we are born of this earth. The patterns of our faith are echoes of the patterns of nature. The cycles of our rituals mirror the cycles of the seasons. We built our stories of creation and destruction on the foundation of what we saw every day. The sun rising and setting, the moon waxing and waning, the forest dying and being reborn. We didn't teach nature to be sacred. We did not anoint the mountains or bless the rivers. They were sacred long before we had words for it. Their holiness is inherent in their existence. It is in the granite spine of the continent and the delicate architecture of a snowflake. Nature taught us. It taught us awe in the face of a thunderstorm. It taught us humility at the edge of the ocean. It taught us hope with the first flower of spring. It taught us about eternity by showing us a star. All our religion is just a footnote to the great sermon of the wild. We built temples to copy what forests already knew. The first cathedrals had leaves for roofs.